Every marriage needs help in one way, in one form or another. See, I know that you probably are saying to yourself that really, my marriage doesn't need any help. Are you sure about that? Let's be real about it, guys. We want to paint a picture like everything is picture perfect. We use social media and we put up some beautiful, nice pictures, exotic vacation, but that does not mean that you have a perfect marriage. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. I've been married for 27 years. And over the years that I've been married, I have worked with a lot of couples, my wife and I. We ourselves have also get coaching and mentoring from another couple. We have accountability partner, somebody that we glean from, someone that we listen to, someone that we sit down over coffee, over tea, and we kind of just do a sounding board, just listen to each other, glean from each other. It's critical to a successful marriage that we begin to realize that we're not all things to our spouse. We're not perfect. Of course, you are both perfect for each other in a perfect union called marriage. But that doesn't mean that you're perfect. That doesn't mean that your spouse is perfect. As a matter of fact, you probably know by now, after the couple of date nights and the courting phase is over, that they're not perfect people. They got some issues that they need to work on. You are right about that. Listen, guys, some spouse comes with more baggage than others. And some of them baggages are so heavy. Oh, by the way, here's the crazy thing about it, guys. When you were dating and when you were courting, you did not see any signs of the behavior that they are now unpacking, unveiling in the relationships and in the marriage. You didn't see it coming. Most of them are now manifesting in the marriage, but you didn't see any sign of it while you were dating, while you were courting. It was like, what happened? Who is this man? Who is this woman? No, that's the woman you date. That is the man you date. That's the man you marry. That is the wife you marry. And now it's time for you to unpack all these different challenges and work on them so that you can have a better, successful marriage. And this is one of the reasons why I know that all marriage needs help. Now, let me just say this, guys. We're not talking about you having major problems and overwhelming issues that is critical to the marriage. We're not talking about things. There are couples that really have these type of issues. But there are some couples that just need to tweak things here, fine-tune a little things there, and really kind of build a stronger, closer relationship. But at the end of the day, if you need help, you need help. You may not seek a professional counselor or a mentor. Maybe you listen to one of your coworkers, maybe your family member. You talk to them about certain things that you're going through. You talk to them about certain problems with your spouse, and they give you some really practical, logical advice that you take and you implement and you see some result. That's getting help. So please, when I say that every marriage needs help, I meant every word. Now let's get into some of the areas that a lot of people really could use some help in. Let's talk about it right now. Number one, not every spouse knows how to communicate. Some spouses do not communicate well at all. Communication is not just listening. Communication is not just hearing. It's about taking the time to understand what the conversation is about. It's communicating effectively means that when you talk to your spouse, you give information that they can understand. And they can receive that information clearly and come with a solution or find solution to the problem. When you communicate, it's also about you leaning in. It's about you being in the moment. It's about you showing interest in what is happening and what is going on. So some spouses do not know how to communicate. That is a sign that you might need help in that area. Number two, your spouse do not listen to you. The truth be told, listening is not a skill that you are born with. Listening is a skill that you must learn to develop. Have you ever heard your spouse says, "Honey, you're not listening to me. Why don't you listen to me?" It is a clear sign that you're hearing your spouse, but you're not listening. How many times your wife called you and tell you to do something, and by the time she get off the phone, you call back and say, "Honey, what did you say?" Or your husband talk to you about something, and later in the evening, He's reminding you about the conversation and you don't have a clue. You were hearing what they were saying, but you were not necessarily paying attention. You were not necessarily putting your all into it. That can be a challenge. Listening takes practicing, leaning in, paying attention, reiterating and asking more questions so you can get more detail to come up with a better solution. Let me just say this to the husband. When you learn to listen to your wife, oh, it takes the relationship to another level. Because women are communicators by nature. When they see that you're showing interest in communicating and listening to them, oh my God, it makes them become extremely vulnerable. At least I know that personally from my wife. Number 3, you let your in-laws or you let your parents dictate what goes on in your marriage. There's a lot of marriages that are suffering right now because the spouse do not set boundaries to protect their wife from their mother, their father, their sisters, their siblings, or in-laws. As a man, as a wife, it is both of your responsibility to set boundaries in the marriage to protect and to safeguard your relationship, to protect your spouse. And guys, if this is a problem in your marriage, it is a clear sign that your marriage needs help. Because the reality is you're supposed to leave and cleave to your wife. Your spouse supposed to be protected in the marriage, safe in the marriage, safe around your in-laws. I'm just saying, guys, these are some of the signs that your marriage needs help. Number 4, you have financial problems. A lot of marriages have financial problems. I know that you guys don't like to talk about it. It's a big issue in a lot of marriages. And I know when you hear videos or you watch video like this and you hear these type of information, some of you guys, you kind of pull your hair out because you know kind of hitting you right where it hurts. The truth be told, if you're having financial problems, you need to get help in your marriage. Because financial issue is the second cause of divorce in this country, in America. Let me say this again. If you are buying things and spending money and fighting and having arguments over finances, it is a clear sign that even though you look beautiful on your social media pictures and you're kissing on your spouse, when you behind closed doors, you ain't so nice because you guys are having money problems. We said it before. You go and look at that video my wife and I did, 27 years and counting. We've been married for 27 years. We have never bounced a check. We have never have a huge argument. Of course, we have discussion about money, but it was never anything where we are biting and fighting and pulling each other hair and just doing crazy stuff with each other because we can't pay our bills. No, we have never spent more than our net income. That's discipline. That's focus. That is working together as a team. And every marriage needs to be aware that this area can damage the welfare and the greater good of the relationship. So if you have a money problem, it's a clear sign that your marriage needs help. Number 5, trust is broken. If trust is broken in the marriage, it's a clear sign that your marriage needs help. Well, let me just say this, that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's infidelity. Maybe you did something that you were not supposed to do. Maybe you get caught in a couple of lies and because of that, your wife or your husband just feel like they can't trust you. Listen, your marriage needs some help. Trust me on that. It does. And you know it too. Number 6, you have an anger problem. Yes, you get mad. You are angry. You're always getting loud. You're always screaming. Instead of you having discussions, you're always having arguments. That is a sign that you have a problem. You might need to get an anger management course. You might need to just talk with somebody. Maybe you just need to get somebody to glean from, or you probably need professional help. Hello, talk to me. Why? Because this is not healthy for your marriage. You're supposed to have conversation. When there's a conflict in a marriage, you don't attack your spouse. You attack the problem, not your spouse. I'm going to say it again. You attack the problem, not your spouse. And too often we find that spouse become extremely personal, dealing with issues, not focusing on the problem, focusing on what your spouse did a year ago, 5 years ago. You bring it back up. What does that have to do with what's happening now? What does steak have to do with a case of egg? Nothing. Both of them don't have anything to do with each other. That is a sign that your marriage needs some help. Number 7, you have a drinking problem. There's a lot of people that have alcohol problem, but you will never know because they're very subtle about it. Oh yes, I'm telling you. And yes, you have a problem. And you need to work on it. And if you're not working on it, it's going to get worse. You have to take the initiative to get the necessary help that you need. If you care about your marriage, you will get the help that can help to build your marriage and help to bring it to a better, more successful place. Number 8, you develop new bad habits. Yeah, when you grow older, you've been in the relationship, you've been in the marriage. Sometimes your wife or your husband have to pound it to you that, hey, babe, you're doing this, you keep doing that. I don't like this, I don't like that. Why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep doing that? You've got to change. Oh my God, you just start to change. You're not the same person anymore. Maybe you need to pay attention to what they're saying. You're not nice like you used to. You get angry for everything. Now I can't talk to you. You yell for everything. Why are you so bitter? Why are you so angry? You're passive aggressive. You need help. Number 9, your spouse is not sexually fulfilled. Maybe initially you were not a good lover, and now you get older, it's worse. I don't know. Maybe it could be anything. It could be a medical problem. It could be anything. Erectile dysfunction, low libido in a woman. It could have been anything that lower your sex drive. Or maybe you were just not a good lover from day one, and you probably need to learn how to become a better one. There are sexologists out there. Sex therapists can help you to enhance your love life, your sex life. Oh, there's a whole lot of things that you can do. That is a sign that your marriage needs help. Number 10, you don't have a good relationship with each other. Oh, you don't talk as you used to talk, or you don't talk at all. You don't communicate very well. You don't sit down and have meaningful conversation. Most of the time that you talk is when you're arguing or when you decide to have sex. Outside of that, you don't communicate. You're on your phone. She's on her phone. You're down in your man cave. She's upstairs watching TV. I mean, come on, guys. This is a marriage. You got to work together. You got to build this together. You got to be positive, because if you don't have that positive mental attitude, it's going to eat you alive. Marriage gives you what you put into it. If you're not investing into your marriage, you ain't going to get anything out. So become an investor. Do the work. Get some help. Number 11, you're married, but you're trying to live a separate life. You're married, but you're acting single. You're married, but you don't do things together. You're married and you don't merge your bank accounts. You don't do financial savings together. That's a problem. At least you need to have one account together. I don't care if it's $1 in there. Maybe your spouse is not very good with money, but at least have a bank account with maybe just $1 in there. I don't know. I would hope that you guys are very good with your money, but if you're not, for God's sake, come on now, do something together, plan together. Make it very interesting that you are doing things that add value to your marriage. Number 12, you are abusive to your spouse. Listen to me, there is no form of abuse in a marriage that is acceptable. Verbal abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, financial abuse, no form of abuse is okay in a marriage. And if you are going through these type of situation, you need to speak to somebody. You got to put that man or that woman in check. Marriage was not designed by God to hurt you. Marriage was created to help us. And if you are going through these situations in your marriage, it is a clear sign, ladies and gentlemen, that something is definitely wrong. And you have got to put your foot down and say, I'm not taking this abuse anymore. I'm not doing this no more. I'm going to speak to somebody. And if you don't get help, we don't have a marriage. That's it, and that's all. And I'm serious about it, guys. You should never have to tolerate abuse in a marriage. Number 13, you always talk about ending the marriage in divorce. Oh my God. You always using the divorce card. As soon as something go wrong, let's just get a divorce. Oh, you didn't have sex last night? Let's get a divorce. Oh, you forgot to pick up the kids? Let's get a divorce. Oh, I'm having a headache. Let's get a divorce. It seems like every time something doesn't go your way, you're always using the divorce card. Well, listen to me. If you cry wolf all the time, maybe one day the big bad wolf is definitely going to show up at your door. I would recommend that you don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a problem, discuss the problem. Don't use these type of language. Why would you want to talk about divorce when you know deep down in your heart it's not something that you really want? That's manipulation. That is a form of control. It's not right. That's not good. It's not the way marriage was designed to be. Number 14, and that's it. If you're addicted to pornography, you have a problem and your marriage need help. See, pornography does not help your marriage. It does not add value to your sex life. The devil wants you to think that it does, but it doesn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you visualize with another person in your mind, it takes away from you putting the focus on your spouse. See, your spouse just become the outlet that you get off after you already built up that fantasy in your mind. No, God wants you to have a clear pictorial about your spouse sexually. He wants you to become magnetized. He wants you to become sexual. He wants you to become interested. He wants you to become passionate about your spouse. Not something that you're watching on TV or watching on your computer or whatever devices that you're using. No. Listen to me. Listen to me. I don't care what nobody tells you. You'll listen to what I'm going to say to you right now. Sex is not just about you. It is about the two of you. Let me lean in so you could hear me. One more time. Sex is not just about you. It is about the two of you. And when you take the initiative to make the focus your spouse, not just about you, you will do the right thing. And if you have an addiction problem, go speak to a sex therapist. Get some help. Change your mindset. Change the attitude. Become accountable to each other in the marriage. And guys, these are just 14 things that I talk about. Guys, there is so much more that I could add to this list, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about a few of these things that tells me that your marriage needs help. And I can tell you right now that at least one of what I spoke about you can probably relate to in your marriage. I know that I could relate to some of what I spoke about. The reality is we work on our marriage and we keep working on ourselves so that we can become a better version of ourselves and add better and more value to our marriage. Getting help for your marriage is very important to build and have a successful marriage. A successful marriage is not built in a day. It is built daily. A successful marriage is not by accident. It is a planned event. You have got to work on yourself, work on your marriage, build it, and build it so that it can be built to last. A successful marriage is about doing the things that helps to make the marriage work. And you do it over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's a cycle of life that you will continue until you die. If you care about your spouse and you care about your family, you care about your marriage, then you're supposed to commit to doing what it takes to make the marriage work. Your marriage will never be successful without you in it. Never. So get into the marriage. Lean all the way in and do the work necessary to build the kind of marriage that you want. And so that's it for this video, guys. If there's anything that was said that add value to your life, please smash that like button. Please subscribe and like our YouTube channel, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.